everyone. Have you ever heard about population policies? I think most of you know about it, though I also want to explain as per my knowledge. And population policy is a set of measures taken by the government to maintain population trend of a country or a specific areas. And according to UN Population Commission, population policy is defined as not only the measures and objectives um, measure and objectives to fertility and family planning programs, but also measure and objectives designed to extend longevity by reducing morbidity and mortality in general, infant and child mortality in particular. Population policy, it is a explicit measure taken by the government that influence population size, growth, and composition. And population policy can also be defined as direct or indirect method taken by the government that affects the human behavior, so that the existing trend of fertility, mortality, and migration would be designed to a desired direction. And it is all for the welfare of people. And this population policy supports all the public policies related to social, economic, and technological factors, uh, such as education, fertility, mortality, nuptiality, and what can other be, migration, and factors affecting migration, status of women, and so on. And actually there are two kind of policy. They are pro-natalist population policy and anti-natalist population policy. And in general, pro-natalist population policy is in the favor of giving birth to a more number of child. That means it supports population growth rate to be increased. And anti-natalist population policy is just antagonist to that of policy. That means this policy does not favors to have a higher number of child, and it limits the birth rate or growth rate. And this pro-natalist policy is applicable in those areas where the population size is few. And there may arise a question, and this pro-natalist policy can be applicable to the immigrants. Let me think. Actually, these natalist policies are only favorable in case of fertility or giving birth to a child, inviting the immigrants from other part of country and increasing the population size, or letting the people of a country to travel abroad and decreasing the population size does not give a concept for this policy. Actually, this policy is related to the birth control and increasing or encouraging birth rate. And so that's all about it. And this pro-natalist policy is applicable in those country where there is a low fertility rate or low population growth rate. And anti-natalist policy is applicable in those area where there is highest growth rate, and fertility rate is very high. And generally, in countries like Israel, there used to have a lot of war, and those country which is widespread with the communicable diseases, they allowed it pro-natalist policies. And those country where the population size is extremely high, that means the fertility rate is extremely high, the pro-natalist policy is not allowed it, and they apply anti-natalist policy. And countries like Sweden, Israel, they allow pro-natalist policies, and the families are subsidized with various accessories, such as in Israel, the women giving birth to a tenth number of child, they are considered as they are provided with a lot of subsidies, and the women's is praised in such cases if they give a tenth number of birth. And they are provided with housing, free meal, and free schooling for children, holiday allowance. And if there is a newly married couple, they are allowed it to have a holiday trip, a holiday allowance, and the bride and bridegroom is provided with a loan, and they are also provided with the holidays back. And these countries are serious in pro-natalist, and they are providing the subsidies to the families to encourage to have a more number of children. And yeah, actually, this anti-natalist policy, talking about the developing and developed countries, the population size or the fertility rate in developing country is low, and the country has applied pro-natalist policy, but the people living in those countries are themselves following an anti-natalist policy. And in context of developing countries, there the population growth rate is extremely high, and the country had made a policies of anti-natalist, or they had from anti-natalist policy, but the people living in developing countries, they are backward in following the anti-natalist policy. They prefer pro-natalist policy. The things is just happening the things is just opposite, and that the country favoring with a pro-natalist policy, the people people or the candidates are following pro anti-natalist policy, and the country which are favored with anti-natalist policy, the people are having or favoring pro-natalist policy, due to which there is the population distribution among in this world is a difference. And there is a one for supporting anti-natalist policy. There in 1980s, China have made a policies of one child policy in 1980s. And countries like Israel and let me give the example of some pro-natalist. Like this is applicable, pro-natalist policy is applicable in almost all the religious in almost all the religion. Like in Hinduism, having a children, they are considered as a boon. And in Buddhism, it has similar cases. And Israel people does not want to have a contraceptive devices for birth control measures.